Hi, year 10. So this video lesson we are going to look at technical textiles. This is the last section of the developments in new materials section of your theory knowledge. So can you turn to this page in your booklet and write down the learning objective. So which is, I will learn about new advances in technical textiles to see how they can be applied in design. Pause the video here and write down the learning objective. Fantastic. So, what are technical textiles? That is our key word for today. They are textile materials that are manufactured for their technical and performance properties. But what is textiles? Textiles are basically all different types of fabric. So they can be synthetic, so they can be made, they're either man-made through plastic derivatives, or they are natural fibres that come from animal pelts or plants such as cotton, or from bugs like the silkworm to create silk. Technical textiles are different to normal fabric textiles. They are textiles that have been developed to have very specific properties that can be used in very specific situations. And you may have heard of some of them before, you might not have heard of any of them, but we're going to learn about their uses and their properties and what they are. We don't need to know about these in a huge amount of detail, but we need to be aware of the different types of technical textiles and where they can be used or applied within design. So let's kick off the first one, which is conductive fabrics. You will need to have a pen in your hand and you will be taking notes as we go through. Feel free to pause the video if you need to jot down the notes. But here we go. So the first one is conductive fabrics. What these are, they are fabrics that allow which eliminates static charge, which allows you to use touchscreen devices. So they allow a small amount of electrical current to pass through them. By eliminating the static charge of the fabric, that means that electrical current can pass through the fabric. So static charge is where, did you ever do it where you had a blown up balloon and you rub it against your hair and then you lift it away and your hair starts standing on end? That's static charge, that's static energy. So conductive fabrics have been designed to eliminate that, so the friction when moving and rubbing the fabric against different things has been designed so that it does not create that static charge. And the main uses for this are touchscreen gloves and anything that needs static charge to be removed, to be eliminated. But the main one that I want you to remember is that they are used for touchscreen gloves. So pause the video here, get that information down, then we'll move on to our second technical textile. Fantastic. The next one are fire-resistant fabrics. These are quite self-explanatory. So they are textiles that are more resistant to fire than others. So if you had a cushion or pillow case made from felt, and then you had another one made up of a fire-resistant fabric, or let's say one t-shirt made out of cotton, the one that isn't fire resistant will burn a lot quicker and set fire a lot quicker. So the main uses for this are for furnishings or soft furnishings. That's things like pillows, duvets, blankets, and then furniture itself. So the actual upholstery on the furniture, the fabric that is stretched around the furniture frame. Pause the video here, get that information, and then we will move forward. Fantastic. So the next one is Kevlar. A little bit more interesting. So you might have heard of Kevlar vests before. So Kevlar is a tightly woven fabric, like insanely tightly woven. So much so that it has a really good impact resistance. What impact resistance means is that it can absorb a blunt force. It can absorb direct energy or direct force being applied to it without breaking, without splitting, without shattering. That's what impact resistance is. So Kevlar is made in a way that it can absorb a huge amount of energy in one go without splitting or breaking or falling apart. So the main uses for this is for stuff like gardening gloves, racing tyres, but the most common and widely known use of Kevlar is for bulletproof vests. So when I talk about impact resistance, I mean it has a huge degree of impact resistance. A Kevlar vest can stop a bullet from passing through it. Of course, if someone shot you when you had a Kevlar vest on, you would still get a huge bruise. You might have some under the skin bleeding from the blunt impact, but the bullet will be stopped by the Kevlar. It won't pass through it into your body. So it doesn't eliminate injury, but it definitely eliminates or highly reduces the risk of being killed by a bullet. Pause the video here and play when you are ready. Okay, the next one is Gore-Tex. I'm not sure whether you would have heard of this one before, but I can probably guarantee that a lot of people watching this video have items of clothing that are made at least partially with Gore-Tex. So it's a textile that has been developed to be waterproof but also breathable. So it does not allow water through. It resists water. It's an aerofoil, but it does allow air to pass through, so that your body can be more ventilated when wearing the clothing. So the uses for this product, we've got walking boots. So lots of walking boots are made from Gore-Tex because walking boots need to be waterproof, but traditional walking boots, they'll be waterproof and do what they say on the tin, but your feet would be super hot and they would get super sweaty, and it's not healthy for your feet to be suffocated for long amounts of time. So for walking boots to be breathable at the same time as being waterproof is essential. And for waterproof clothing, so lots of raincoats and jackets are used at least partially, made partially with Gore-Tex. This allows the person wearing that clothing to not get absolutely drenched, but also be able to not overheat with the traditional types of materials. The next one are microfibers. These are very, very thin synthetic fibers, and what I mean by synthetic fibers is that it is man-made. It's not come from a natural plant or animal. So they are very, very thin fibers that are breathable, durable, and crease resistant. So the main use for this is outdoor clothing and sportswear. So most clothing that you buy to go to the gym, to play sport, lots of it is made from microfibers. It allows air to pass through it so that you keep ventilated, so it's breathable, but also when it's got a good amount of durability, so when it rubs against itself or rubs against your body or rubs against a different product or material, it does not wear away really quickly, whereas traditional breathable fabrics would be less durable and wear away quite quickly. But the main one is that it's crease resistant. It doesn't mean that it does not have creases, but it means that with movement, when wearing it, when folding it, it creates a lot less creases or less defined creases. So pause the video here and take down the rest of your notes if you haven't done so already, and then we will move on. Okay, so those were our 5 types of technical textiles. We had microfibers, Kevlar, Gore-Tex, fire-resistant fabrics, and conductive fabrics. Now we've got all of the descriptions on the right-hand side that we've learned. So what I'd like you to do is close your booklet and then start testing ourselves and be honest with ourselves to see how much we have retained from what we've just learned. So let's go with the description at the top right. A technical textile that is very thin, is made of very thin synthetic fibers that are breathable, durable, and crease resistant. Which technical textile are we talking about? If you said microfibers, you are correct. The next one, tightly woven fabric that has excellent impact resistance. Are we talking about Kevlar, Gore-Tex, fire-resistant fabrics, or conductive fabrics? We are talking about Kevlar. Next, textiles that are more resistant to fire than others. Which of the 3 that's left is it? It is fire-resistant fabrics. The next one, a waterproof yet breathable textile. Do we think it's Gore-Tex or conductive fabrics? Indeed, it is Gore-Tex. And finally, a textile that allows a small amount of electrical current to pass through them. That is conductive fabrics. Okay, next, moving on to the uses. So we've got our uses on the right hand side. Those relate to one of our technical textiles that you can see on the left. So we have a technical textile that is used to make walking boots and waterproof clothing. What could it be? If you said Gore-Tex, you are correct. Next one, a technical textile used to make outdoor clothing and sportswear. If you think it is microfibers, you are correct. Next, a technical textile used to eliminate static charge and used to make touchscreen gloves. Which one is it? If you said conductive fabrics, you are correct again. Next, gardening gloves, racing tyres, bulletproof vests. What technical textile are these made from? If you said Kevlar, you are correct. And finally, we've got a fabric that's used to make furniture and soft furnishings. Which one do you think it is? If you said fire-resistant fabrics, you are correct. And that is the end of the lesson for today. Please make sure that you've got down all of the correct notes. So if you have any gaps for any of the 5 technical textiles, please rewind and watch that section of the video again. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.